Welcome back to the Presidential Elections in History series. It is now 1844, and we have a very interesting election that I think is underrated, so let's get started. John Tyler was a really weird president because William Henry Harrison had died, but his vice president, Tyler, wasn't actually a Whig. Tyler was actually more of a Democrat. Just a quick reminder, back then, the Democrats are similar to today's Republicans, and the Whigs are similar to today's Democrats. So essentially, the Whigs got screwed out of 4 years of a presidency because William Henry Harrison had died only a month into his presidency. Tyler vetoed so many bills that the Whig Congress brought upon him that they literally kicked him out of the party. So, yeah, they were not about to renominate him. The Democrats, their primaries, they weren't really primaries, but they were more, shall we say, caucuses. Martin Van Buren, the former president, had a strong showing on the first ballot, but he didn't get the two-thirds majority he needed. Lewis Cass, the former governor of Michigan, he did pretty well, but again, he didn't do as well as he needed to do. James Buchanan, a senator from Pennsylvania, was in the mix, and so was John C. Calhoun, a former vice president. But at the end, a dark horse candidate, James K. Polk, was chosen as a compromise. He was the governor of Tennessee and was pretty conservative for his time. But the party easily, they got behind him pretty easily. They chose George M. Dallas, the former Attorney General of Pennsylvania, Minister to Russia, as his VP. The Whigs, they easily renominated Henry Clay, the former congressman from Kentucky and former Secretary of State under John Quincy Adams, 20 years prior. He had aged quite considerably, but he was still very energized. They chose a nerdy college professor, Theodore Frelinghuysen, and the former mayor of Newark, as his vice president. James G. Birney was back at it, and he was a candidate for the Liberty Party. And so, the campaign was actually more about slavery than it was about all the other issues, which it should have been. I mean, they should have never had slavery in the first place, but at the time, slavery was a key institution in the South. They relied on it for their economy. So, also, there was a new kid on the block, Texas. And Texas was like, howdy, y'all, can I join? And then Henry Clay and the Whigs are basically like, yeah, no. And then, but James K. Polk and his Democrats were like, yeah. And Texas was like, okay, how about I be a slave state? And then the Whigs, the abolitionists in the North were like, what the heck? That is like the worst idea ever. No. So they became against the annexation of Texas. Whereas James K. Polk, his Democrats, they made up a slogan about expanding the size of the U.S. So they were all about 54-40 or fight. 54-40 or fight was a slogan because 54-40 was a longitude-latitude line, and it was in present-day Oregon. And they wanted control of Oregon and Texas and a bunch of land in between. Whereas Clay was like, no thanks. And the Polk campaign made it all about how Henry Clay was going to take Southerners slaves, which really hurt him. And the campaign was actually pretty lopsided for most of the time. I mean, everyone expected Henry Clay to win. He had the most name recognition. He had a lot of respect, even with some Southerners who disagreed with him because he was so skillful and intelligent. But really, I mean, they didn't really like him, and they were going to vote for Polk. And the results, James K. Polk pulled it off narrowly. Clay won with most of New England, as well as a few southern and midwestern states, including James K. Polk's home state of Tennessee and his home state of Kentucky. But the reason that Polk won was in this state of New York. New York was exceptionally close, and Clay was only 0.5% short of Polk. However, James G. Birney, remember this guy? He took away votes from them because he had to be a troll. So, because he was an abolitionist, and Clay wasn't an abolitionist, but he was more in favor of restricting slavery. He took away votes from Clay. So this really hurt Bernie really hurt Clay in the swing state of New York, and this tipped the election to Polk. So, yep, that's essentially it. Sorry, Henry Clay. I have a lot of respect for you, and if you're watching this, just know that you are my hero. I guess. No, I'm joking. You're not. But all right. That's it. So James K. Polk won, and yep, that's what happened. All right. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye.